Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Hello, good morning everyone. I hope you all doing well today. Welcome to our class presentation. My name is Rais Ahmad and I will be moderator the presentation to the morning. And we are the fortune to have our esteemed lecturer to Mr. Ahmad Abu Setiawan with us today to guide through this session and provide feedback and our the work. To keep up our session, I would like to invite our first presentation, Muhammad Taufiq and Saiful and Arham with the presentation on the topic the main trend potential of the Sulawesi renewable energy supply and demand and of long-range energy alternative planning. So the provide us will some the interest to insight. First.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Good morning, everyone. We are Group 6, and today we would like to present our title, the midterm forecast of South Sulawesi's renewable energy supply and demand and application of LEAP. Okay, my name is Saiful M, and together with Arham and Muhammad Taufiq, we have conducted this analysis to better understand how renewable energy in South Sulawesi can be planned and managed over the medium term using the lab model. Okay, next. Here is the outline of our presentation. We will begin with the background, explaining the importance of renewable energy planning and the context in South Sulawesi. Next, we present the problem statement and research objective, followed by a brief overview of the study area. Then we describe the research framework and methodology, include the use of the LEAP, range energy, alternative planning. We will also discuss the renewable energy cost, data, and electricity demand forecast used in our analysis. After that, we will move on to the energy mix comparison, scenario design, and estimation of renewable energy capacity. We will then analyze the supply and demand balance and emission dynamic under different scenarios. Finally, we will conclude with key finding and recommendation in the conclusion section. Next. Okay, the slide provides background information on the population trend in South Sulawesi based on the data from 2019 to 2025. The population has shown a steady upward trend, increasing from around 80.80 million people in 2019 to approximately 19.6 million people by 2025. The average population growth during this is about 0.142 million people per year, which equals roughly addition resident annually. In terms of growth rate, the population increased at an average of 1.028% per year, although there are slight fluctuations. Overall, the trend remains positive, reflecting a consistent demographic expansion. The study growth highlights the ongoing rise in energy demand, infrastructure needs, and economic activities in the province. Important factors to consider when planning for future power generation and development strategies. So, next. Okay, this slide illustrates the trend of electricity consumption across different customer groups in South Sulawesi from 2015 to 2024. As shown, electricity demand has steadily increased over the years. The household sector remains the largest cost of customer, followed by business and public sector, while industrial consumption, dogs, smell in share continues to grow consistently. According to the RUPTL 2025 to 2034 projection, total electricity sales are expected to reach approximately 2.8075 gigawatt hour in the first data set and 19,000 to 2025 gigawatt hour in second data set by 2024. This represents a strong annual growth rate of around 7 to 80%, reflecting the region expanding energy need. The study increase in electricity consumption demonstrate continuous economic development, expansion of electric and raising demand across all sectors in South Sulawesi, especially from household and the growing business sector. In summary, South Sulawesi's energy consumption outlook highlight a dynamic and growing market that will require sustained investment in generation and grid infrastructure to meet future demand efficiently. Next. South Sulawesi has abundant renewable energy resources spread across the province. The largest potential come from mini hydro, reaching around 7,600 megawatt, and solar power about 7,500 megawatt peak. Hydro and wind also play key roles with potential of 2,090 and 900 megawatt and 4,001 megawatt respectively. Many already in operation in areas like Sidrap, Jeneponto, and Enrekang. In addition, there's potential for waste to energy and gas turbine development, supporting future grid stability. Overall, South Sulawesi stands as one of Indonesia's leading province in renewable energy potential and clean energy development. Next. Okay, this is a problem statement. There are 3 points. The first point is how will South Sulawesi's renewable energy supply and demand falls in the midterm. The second point is what would be the optimal power generation mix in South Sulawesi under the implementation of the national renewable energy target of 34.3% by 2034. The last point is how can LEAP be used to model the supply-demand balance. Okay, this is a research objective. There are 3 points. The first point is to forecast South Sulawesi renewable energy demand and supply potential. The second point is developing renewable energy generation capacity expansion scenario that is proportionally aligned with the 34.3% renewable energy mix target. And the last point is to analyze the balance between supply and demand in each scenario. Next.
And this slide about study area in South Sulawesi as the of the RUPTL 2025 until 2034. So Sulawesi total installed capacity reached 3,200 megawatt. PLN contributes around 1,960 megawatt, mainly from coal and hydro plants. In the independent power producer dominate with about 2,200 megawatt, including large coal energy and mini hydro energy. Meanwhile, rented power plants account for a small share of 18 megawatt, mainly from diesel and hydro units. These distributions shows a significant private sector role in supporting regional electricity generation. Okay. In 2025, South Sulawesi's total electricity production is expected to reach 9,700 megawatt hour. Coal remains the main source with 5,800 megawatt hour, and that means 60% of total. Renewable and contribute notable through heat hydro 1,400 megawatt hour, and wind for 400 megawatt hour, and wind hydro 300 megawatt hour. Gas and steam plants at 1,200 megawatt hour, while diesel provides 250 megawatt hour. This shows a gradual shift toward renewable energy. Coal still dominates South Sulawesi's power mix. And then Sulawesi's electricity network consists of two main systems, Sulbagut and Sulbaksel, which are still not interconnected. The Sulbaksel system operates at 115 kilovolt, 70 kilovolt, and 275 kilovolt, covering Southeast and West Sulawesi, as well as part of Central Sulawesi. Meanwhile, the Sulbagut system serves North Sulawesi, Gorontalo, and part of Central Sulawesi. These systems form the backbone of Sulawesi's power grid, supporting electricity distributions across the islands. Table summarize the economics and the technical parameter of various power plants types in Indonesia for 2018 and 2040. Coal remains among the lowest cost of option with high capacity factor, that means 80%, but lower efficiency 37% and significant emissions. The second, gas plants offer higher efficiency up to 56% and reliability suitable for flexible generations. And the third, renewable source such as hydro, geothermal, biomass, solar PV, and wind showed declining capital cost and competitive performance by 2040, especially solar PV and wind under cost reduction scenarios. And the fourth, battery and pumped hydro storage support grid stability with high efficiency and full capacity availability. And overall, the data reflect a trend toward increasing cost competitiveness of renewables, positioning them as capable players in Indonesia's future energy mix. And this slide shows the research framework of my study, and the process begins with data collections, and then demand forecasting and supply modeling, and then scenario development, and then simulation in leap, and the last analysis and interpretations. In this slide, illustrate the input, process, and output structure of research. For the input, we use key variables such as the number of customers, energy intensity, customer growth rate, and energy intensity growth rate. For the demand side, we apply the final energy intensity equations, while for the transformation side, we model it electricity generators based on parameters such as capital cost, dispatch rule, operation, and maintenance cost, capacity, historical production, and emission factors. All these were processed using the LEAP model, which simulates the energy system. And then the outputs from the LEAP include projection of final energy demand, comparison of energy mix, estimation of renewable energy capacity for the midterm forecast, the balance between supply and demand, and emission mix under different scenarios. And this slide is renewable cost data, and we use for input data, we refer to the following table. And then this chart shows the projected energy consumption in South Sulawesi from 2024 to 2034, divided into four main sectors, and the households, business, public, and industry. The first represent the largest and steadily increasing demand, growing from 3,600 gigawatt hour in 2024 to 5,700 gigawatt hour in 2024. This reflects population growth and rising electricity usage in residential areas. Second, industry follows as the second largest consumer, expanding significantly from 3,600 gigawatt hour in 2024 and to 9,000 gigawatt hour in 2024, indicating strong industrial development and electrification of production processes. And the third, business and public sectors also show consistent growth driven by commercial expansion and increasing public infrastructure needs. And the fourth, overall, the data shows a continuous upward trend in total energy demand across all sectors, emphasizing the need for sustainable energy planning and renewable energy integration to meet future consumptions.
Yeah, here we go. Again, sorry, Mr. As and all of the colleges for your inconvenience because of this lack of stability of the internet. So guys, now let us move to energy mix consumptions. So in this part, we have presented a comparative overview in between RUPTL scenario and a national renewable energy target scenario that we have. So if you see here, based on the RUPTL, or I can say RUPTL 2025 up to 2034, South Sulawesi's electricity generation is still heavily dominated by coal-fired power plants, contributing nearly 60% of the total energy output. These reflect the current conditions of regional supply due to its established infrastructure and lower short-term production costs. However, when we compare this with the national target scenario, which aim for a 34.3%, as you can see, so we notice there is a significant difference in the generations of structure, including hydropower, mini hydro, wind, and solar power as well. So we have to, or we must expand considerably to meet the target. These comparisons highlight the transition's challenge for South Sulawesi how to shift from a fossil dominated system to a cleaner and more sustainable energy mix while we are still ensuring reliability and affordability of the supply. Thus, this energy mix comparisons sets the stage for our scenario design, which models both pathways in more detail using the LEAP system later on. Next, okay, so in this scenario, comparison based on installed capacity to forecast South Sulawesi's energy future from 2025 to 2035. We developed two main scenarios, as you can see here. So the baseline RUPTL and the policy or national target, each of them reflecting the different strategic directions. And baseline scenario that we see here for RUPTL to 2025-2034, we adopt the generations plan outline in PLN or Visual RUPTL document. This scenario assumes that energy development continues under existing policies without significant accelerations in renewable integrations. In this case, in these two scenarios, coal continues to be dominant source, contributing around 60%, as I mentioned earlier, of total generations capacity. Natural gas and steam power plants contribute about 15 up to 20% of the mix. Diesel plant PLTD remain operational mainly to serve isolated areas and small islands in South Sulawesi. Plus, renewable such as hydro, mini hydro, and wind contribute less than 1/3 of total supply we have. And this baseline scenario offers stable and reliable supply, but with high carbon emissions and continued dependency on fossil fuels. This is the next slide, comparisons based on output that we may have that we will present to you all, my colleagues. So the second scenario aligns with Indonesians RUEN, National Energy Plan, and RUED, Regional Energy Plan, which mandate a 34.3% renewable share by 2034. In this policy-driven scenario, we also simulate using LEAP with a more ambitious path that accelerate renewable energy development while gradually reducing fossil dependency. So the main assumptions are as follows. The first one is coal generations capacity. So it is gradually reduced, especially for older plants that we have in South Sulawesi, approaching the end their operational life. Second one is hydropower. Capacity increase significantly through the development of large dams and mini hydro projects in regions that we have. For example, like Enrekang, Toraja, and Luwu as well. And wind power, as we know, we have that further in Sidrap and Jeneponto, and this is one of the project based on our previous president, Mr. Jokowi, supported by favorable wind speeds and ongoing project pipeline. And also we have solar photovoltaics, or we call it PLTS. System grow rapidly, particular. You can realize it in Makassar, Bone, Bantaeng, and Goa, you name it. So leveraging declining technology costs and strong solar irradiation levels. And energy efficiency improvement are included in these comparisons based on output as well. If you see here, we are reducing the overall growth rate of electricity demand by promoting the effect of appliances and industrial practices. So in these two scenarios, slide number 17 and slide number 18, renewable energy progressively replace coal and gas, eventually becoming the main contributors to electricity generations by the early of 2030s as we wish. And this is renewable energy capacity. So this slide, we can see a summarize of the project growth of renewable energy capacity across in South Sulawesi. So from our modeling, the province renewable portfolio will continue to diversify over the next decade. The first one is hydropower. So it remains the backbone contributing the largest share of renewable capacity that we have in South Sulawesi due to abundant river potential. The second one is wind energy. So this is particularly in Jeneponto and Sidrap. We are assuming that it will expand through additional turbines and improve capacity factors as well. And the last thing is solar PV. So installations more on grid, we are expected to grow rapidly as panel efficiency increases and cost decline. So I hope that by 2034, these technologies collectively enable South Sulawesi to approach 34.3% renewable share. Significantly, we can reduce fossil dependence in this case. So the growth can be also promoted local job creations, technology transfer, and regional economic diversifications as well, because this will support our green province transitions. And this is supply demand balance. So in this next part, we are showing the supply and demand balance under both scenarios. Using LEAP, we simulated already total of electricity productions and consumptions up to 2035. In this baseline scenario, as you can see, guys, so this total supply remains sufficient, but it is still heavily dependent on coal-fired power plant. It means that while demand is met, the environmental impact remains high. So this is one of our concerns as well. So in contrast, under the policy scenarios, renewable much greater playing in this role to meet the future demand. However, this is also introduce new challenges for us, of course, such as intermittency from solar, wind, and the need for grid flexibility and storage solutions. Overall, in these both scenarios, supply and demand balance, we have to ensure supply reliability, but only the renewable focus part aligns with Indonesia's energy transitions roadmap and also long-term carbon reductions goals. We can continuously to monitor the things. And this is the graph of emission dynamics. So here we analyze emission dynamics, which shows how different energy pathways impact environmental performance. In this baseline, RUPTL, case carbon dioxide emissions continue to rise each year due to persistent coal usage. And by 2035, total CO2 emission reached a level inconsistent with Indonesia's nationality determined contributions, NDC or NDZ targets. However, in this renewable policy scenario, emission decreased significantly, as you can see from our dynamic. Therefore, the LEAP simulations confirm that expanding renewable energy not only enhance supply security for us, but it is also provide tangible climate benefit and support Indonesia's net zero 2060 visions, as all of us know. And this is the conclusions. So to conclude our presentations, the first one is installed capacity. So in South Sulawesi currently has around 3,250 megawatts of installed capacity, and it is dominated by coal-fired and IPP-based pumps. Electricity production 2025, province is projected to generate about 978 98 megawatt hours, with coal contributing 60% of the total. And number three, renewable energy trend, including hydro, mini hydro, and wind, solar is growing steadily but remains secondary in this short term. Number four, LEAP modeling insight. Through LEAP modeling, we successfully analyze future demand forecasting, supply expansions, energy mix compositions, and emissions dynamics for 2025 up to 2035 period. And number five, it is related to policy implications, and it is very important. So for this study shows that achieving 34.3% renewable energy target by 2034 is technically feasible. But of course, it requires number one, stronger policy enforcement, and both national and regional levels, investment incentives for renewable developers, grid infrastructure, upgrades, and number four, enhance institutional coordinations among stakeholders. Yeah, so this is our last slide. So I'll try to make one summary. So in South Sulawesi is moving the right directions towards sustainable energy, but the transition success will depend on our consistent commitment, financial readiness, and innovations and renewable technologies. If these measures are implemented, I'm sure that the province can become a leading model of renewable energy transitions in eastern of Indonesia. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the presentation from the group and from the detailed presentation. Now we will open the floor for question. If you have a question, please raise hand. Okay.
Uh, as shown before from the pie chart, we can see that the RUPTL energy mix from the renewable energy has a big presentation about 44%, and the national target is about 30%. I want to ask you, is there any reason why you choosing the national target? Of, yes, that's
Okay.
Skenario.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the question. Okay. The group, please the question. Okay. The one, the question.
Check. Okay. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad Fajar. I want to ask you about the challenging. What are the main challenge in achieving the projected renewable energy targets for South Sulawesi based on the LEAP midterm forecast? Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Thank you for the last question. Do you please the address, please answer the question from the group.
One question.
Two.
Three questions.
Oh, three. And last the question.
Anyone?
Okay, the next, please answer the question from the question.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Ikmal for the question. We chose to use the national target of 30.3% because it is considered more realistic and aligned with the current regional conditions. Based on the previous evaluation of renewable energy achievement, even the higher national targets set in the RUPTL have been difficult to achieve due to limitations in infrastructure, investment, and technological readiness at the regional level. Therefore, applying the 34.3% target in this modeling aims to create an alternative scenario in case the RUPTL target cannot be achieved, will still remaining consistent with the national policy direction toward sustainable energy transition. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I want to answer the question from Mr. Fajar about the challenges in achieving the expected renewable energy targets for South Sulawesi. I think the main challenges include limited grid infrastructure to accommodate variable renewable energy source, high initial investment costs for solar and wind projects, and intermittency of renewable generation. Additionally, policy and regulatory uncertainties, delays in project implementation, and insufficient local technical capacity can hinder progress. According to the LEAP broadcast, without strategic support and investment in transmission systems, South Sulawesi may face difficulties in meeting its renewable energy needs despite having abundant natural resources. Thank you.
Okay, thank you from the answer. And as we come to the end of our session, I want to thank you of everyone of their presentation and the participation. It's been a very information session, and I am sure we all again now participation of topic. I also want to excited a special thank you to our teacher, Mr. Ahmad Abu Setiawan, for your continued support and continue the feedback. And thank you for doa and have a great day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.